Hi, it's Paula from 38X Fitness. Today I thought I would take you through some mobility and some unloading through the myofascia and some soft tissue unload in the body. Today we're going to work on hips, and it's pretty intense, the hips, so I like to work through ankle, knee and hip in all the exercises I'm going to give you, because everything starts at the feet. And the reason why we do hip mobility is the obvious. In today's world, we sit in triple flexion, so our bodies kind of look like this most of the time. And as you can see, I'm not really sitting on my sit bones, I'm sitting kind of on my fleshy part of my glutes. And I've changed all the curves that should be in the right place in my spine out. So if I unload the hips, I'm going to get a much better posture with my spine. 1. 2 is going to reduce injury long term. And because I'm sitting in flexion, so in this position, means my hip flexors are really tight. So there's lots of imbalances in the body between the front of the body and the back of the body. So if I unload all around the hip, starting with the ankle and then moving up knee and hip, it's going to reduce all those imbalances, it's going to reduce injury. So often when we start to exercise, we start to get all these aches and pains in the body, and it's intense, and we don't know where to start when we, to try and get our body into a balanced state. And it is literally making sure you've got the fullest range of movement through your joint, and working through that process, and then actually getting the body moving. So let's start. So as I said, I've mentioned a couple of times, we're going to start with the ankles, and we're going to start from the toes. Yeah. So if you tuck all those toes under, and this is called, in a yoga pose, it's called angry toes or fire toes. And so as I draw my toes under in this position, I'm really working through the toes and through the ankles. And what I'm going to do from here is, you can see that I'm nice and tall, and I'm using my deep core muscles to hold me up, but it is quite painful. Maybe you won't be able to hold this for very long. So a couple of things to do is to make sure you're using your breath through all your movements. And when you feel that it's too much, you're just going to come out. And maybe you start with your hands here, because even this stretch alone, you're actually working through those ankles quite nicely. Yeah, so, but if you feel that you can, you might come back, or you might just move forward and back. We are going to do a mobility in a moment, but this is more of a stretch, so we kind of hold the stretch for a few breaths, and then we might come back out again. And then from here, I want you to press back onto, using your hands, push back so you drop the heels down. Take the hands forward a little bit, and then draw the knees down towards the ground. Keep the shoulders away from the ears, keep the crown of the head long, and then move again through the bones in the feet. Now what you might want to do, and you saw me just do then, so I want you to follow along with me, yeah? Maybe take your knees a little wider if you find that you don't have enough access, and then you can just take your knees either side of your belly, and you can come alongside your ribs. So you're going to move forward, you're going to move this in mobility, so still working through the toes and the ankles, all the way through. So forward and back. Just do 2 more for me, using the breath, breathing in and breathing out. That's perfect. 1 more, all the way forward, and then all the way back. So we've done the underside of the feet here, yeah? You can feel that right around the toes and the ankles. Now just to untuck the toes and just tap the toes out a little bit, just give it a sensation back so it feels normal again. And then just parallel the knees, so now your knees are tracking in line with your hips. And then I want you to sit back onto your heels now. So we're doing the opposite, so we're doing the front of the ankle complex. So you can feel that stretch right across the front tops of the feet. And again, shoulders down and away from your ears. And then we're going to take the opposite hand, and we're going to draw that knee up. I'm going to just lift it and increase the stretch down the front of the shin, and then drop it back down. And then switch sides. Lift and then back down. So it's a really gentle movement. You're going to lift, so just working through the ankles first. That's beautiful. So you feel that stretch from the tops of the toes across the top of the foot. We're going to do one more each side, using the breath. All the way up, and then down, and then let's do one more. Lifting, and then down. Now, I want you to bring your hands down onto the ground, and we're going to take the legs back a little bit, yeah? Now we're going to draw the knees so they're far apart. Bring the toes to touch, and then you're going to bring your bottom back, and then just back to a tabletop, yeah? Crown of the head moving forward, so down and up. Yes, beautiful. So down and up. So now we're stretching through the lower back and through those tops of those shins a little bit there. One more. And then as we bring that up, we're going to now bring the hands further forward, and I'm just going to come into this little up dog. So as you draw the pelvis down towards the mat, shoulders away, you're going to lift and stretch through the chest, and then bring your body down, and then draw all the way into this position, and then draw it back all the way down, and then all the way up. Beautiful. Just stretching through those hip flexors. Now I want you to come back, bring your hands back. We're going to move in the lateral plane a little bit here before we move into the twisting. So we're going to come back onto the toes. And this is called Skandasana, this one. So we're going to take this leg out into this position, yeah? This might be hectic for some people, but you can come up if you find this too much through the ankle joint. But we have mobilized the ankle, so you should have a bit more range there, yeah? So we are going to move from this position, move your hands across. I'm going to come here actually, so you can see. Move the hands across and move from leg to leg. I'm going to turn my toe up and then take it down. I'm going to use my breath in and out, nice and fluid. Turn the toes up, bring it down, bring it across and around. Now, if you find this too much through the knees, you're going to lift the bottom up and you're just going to move from side to side. So we're just stretching through those adductors, yeah? Moving from side to side, keeping the back really flat. And I'm just gently pressing on the inside of my knee with my elbow. Remember, you're still following along, still moving at your own pace and using your breath. Lovely. And then from here, we're now going to move back into, going to turn the toes now. So we're in this position. So the feet are just a bit wider than the hips, and we're kind of got the feet kind of like parallel, so they're kind of like in line with each other. I'm going to draw the toes up and down, nice and flat. Last two, last one. Now I want you to drop the back knee down. So drop the back knee down into this position. So we just did a little bit of hamstring by lifting those front toes, and we're going to come all the way back now, a little bit longer in that hamstring stretch. So bring the hip forward and then bring it back. Bring it forward and then bring it back. Beautiful. So we're now going to the front of the hip, drawing it to the front leg on the other hip. Beautiful. Last one. Just mobilizing through that hamstring and that hip flexor. Now you're going to hold the hip flexor. Remember, the hip flexor is the one that runs across the front of the hip, and it is the longest muscle in the body. So we want to go, it stretches from the ribs right down over onto the inside of the thigh bone. Yes, it's a very long muscle. So hips and shoulders are pointing forward now. And you're going to take that same arm as the front leg and place it, rest it on the front of the thigh. And then you're going to reach the back arm, same arm as the back hip, reach the arm up, and then gently allow the hips to, again with gravity, just drop down just a little bit, yeah? But you're going to draw the belly button in so you're protecting the lower back. Don't let the hips twist at the moment. We want the hip bones to be pointing forward with the shoulders, yeah? Taking this stretch. Now bring the arm down. You've still got this forearm, and I'm going to rotate now. So I'm going to rotate my body my arms all the way around in this position. So I'm reaching my fingers back, bringing the arms forward, and then taking it back all the way here, big stretch. So you're in that rotation. Now, we're going to switch sides. Take the hands and switch legs. Okay, so we're back up. We're going to go from here and draw it back. And then back in. Spine nice and long. Bring your bottom back, take it into the hamstrings, and then bring it back in. And all the way back, lift the toes up. I mean, each side is different, so you're going to feel different shape, but it will feel the same in your physical body. So, rest that arm, same arm as the front leg. Hips and shoulders are pointing forward. Rest that forearm onto the front thigh. And then bring the same arm as the back leg, reach it up, so you want to lengthen through the crown of the head and the fingertips. And as you drop that hip a little bit lower towards the ground, draw the belly button in and just focus on the breath in and breath out, being calm. So take one more breath in and out, and then bring the arm down. And this is where we're going to come to that rotation. So bring the arm right around and rotate all the way around as far as you can go. And press that front arm on the inside of the knee so you don't rotate the hips too far. Take one more deep breath in and then bring it back in. Now from here you're going to come in and we're going to do the glutes a little bit. So as you come in, we're going to do internal, external rotation first as a mobility drill. So you've got one knee externally rotated, one internally rotated. Take your hands behind you and just switch the knees over. So you're going to rotate through the pelvis, internal, external rotation. Beautiful, all the way. So keep your chest broad, all the way across. That's it. In and out, amazing. Now from here, we're going to take that stretch and hold. So as you come into this Z set, you're going to transfer your weight. So you might come up a little bit, and the back leg is out straight. You can maintain it so it's back, it's bent if you want to, but you're going to hold this position, shoulders down away from the ears. We're not going to flex forward today, you're going to hold this position, that's it. Shoulders down away, take a deep breath in. If you want to reach your arms forward to increase that stretch, feel free to increase the stretch. Otherwise you can stay anywhere from here or forward, anywhere in between that, yeah? So roll the shoulders down and away, take that glute stretch, come down onto that hip, roll over onto the other side, yeah? So now we're going to move up onto the shin, same thing. So this side's a bit tighter for me, and I can feel this really in my glutes and my, on my outer hip. So I'm going to stay up here, but remember you can come down a little lower if you find that's where you want to be, yeah? So into that position. Fantastic. So really unloading the body, and then come one in, sit back onto the glute, cross the legs over, and you're going to press the forearms down onto the inside of the knee. If you struggle with being able to lean forward in this position, you can place a towel under your bottom here if you want, so you elevate the hips a little bit. But you should be okay, or you can take your feet further away so it's less stress being able to lean forward, yeah? So you're forward in this position with your forearms down. If you find it's too hard with one, you can just press that hand on that knee and then you can switch it over. So other leg comes forward and then stretch it over. So you can just follow along. You can either do both together in that position, or you can do one at a time, you decide. And then last little stretch, we're going to come up into this calf stretch. So we're going to take one foot flat, and you're going to have the toes in line with the knee, and the shin is down flat. Now you're going to take this knee, so it's on the outside of the ribs, and this is the ultimate stretch for your hips. It's a really good one, yeah? So drop your body down, so you're in this position. Forearms can come down, you can just go on your hands, keep your spine nice and long, and take one more deep breath in, and then let's switch to the other side. This is the last stretch for today, and you can, remember each side is going to be a little bit different, yeah? So take it wherever you can, but it feels the same, but it might look slightly different. All right, take one more deep breath in, and then come on up. So follow along our mobility series. This is one in the line of very many to come. And if you like any of it or you want us to change it up, then write in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up so we know we're going in the right direction. And we'll see you real soon.